Cheers, my name is Christos, and I am here to talk to you about Christos Keto Bistro. I'm sure you've probably heard about the keto lifestyle. I'm here to tell you a little bit more about it. Maybe you're just discovering it for the first time. Maybe you're trying to do it to lose weight or to feel better. By now, keto has really taken on a lot of popularity. I used to do another channel which was dedicated to more of like the fitness side and philosophy side of a healthier lifestyle. This is mainly to help you focus on navigating you through a keto lifestyle because it can be kind of confusing. There are some misunderstandings about keto. I've been keto for about 5 years now. I'm a single dad. It is, in fact, affordable because you're getting more bang for your buck. What is keto essentially? Well, keto is kind of like the difference between driving a Prius and driving a diesel truck. That might be maybe a bit of a stretch, but it's essentially your body running on an alternate fuel. You can run on carbohydrates, which are in fact a form of energy, or you can run on ketones. In other words, your body turns fat into fuel. And I like to use this analogy of if you have 5 pounds of wood, either in log form or 5 pounds of small twigs and branches, yes, the twigs and branches are going to catch more easily. They're also going to be gone a lot faster. Whereas if you have a log, it's going to burn through a lot more slowly. And that essentially is how keto works. So there's different types of keto. There's ketovore, where you're just kind of staying low carb. You're kind of eating a spectrum of foods. You're including some vegetables in that, or you can be carnivore, which is what it sounds like. You're just eating nothing but predominantly meat and animal products. There's dirty keto, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But essentially, if the food you're eating is not a fat or a protein or a fiber, it's more than likely a carb and not keto. And there's a certain allowance of carbs depending on how your body reacts that you can eat on keto, and we'll get into that. So one of my favorite places to shop for my needs is Aldi. This is not a promotion for Aldi, although if they want to start sponsoring my videos, I would be more than happy. But I used to be just a straightforward beef, butter, bacon, eggs guy when I first got into keto. And only very recently have I started to really discover a lot of variety on keto. And there are ways to get around not always avoiding sweets and things of that nature. So what I'm going to do is in just real time right now, this video is not going to be edited in any way for 2 reasons. A, I don't have the time or the storage on my phone, and B, I just want you to see exactly what I'm unbagging from these bags in real time as we do it. And the reason why I shop at Aldi is because if you're on a keto diet, it by default makes you a better person than other people around you, and you want to be able to remind them of that you are now of a higher status than them. And only good people shop at Aldi, so now you can back that claim up that you are in fact better than other people. So anyway, at least that's why I shop at Aldi. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to unbag these videos one by one. Or unbag these groceries one by one. Of course, eggs. Eggs are the most simple, most whole food that you can get. You almost can never have too many of them. And these, again, are just very, very versatile. These are going to be your best friend. They're very inexpensive. They're very easy to incorporate into a variety of dishes. You're getting your proteins. You're getting your fats. Eggs are a must on the keto diet. Now, nuts is where you start to tread into more dangerous territory because nuts are very palatable, and they do contain they can range it anywhere from like a lower carb nut, say like a macadamia nut, which is 6 grams per serving, to almonds, 8 grams per serving. Doesn't sound like a lot, but a serving size of these things is according to this, 1 ounce. Who's stopping at 1 ounce? So that's why know your willpower. You want to know realistically, how much of these are you going to sit down and eat? I'll probably eat a bowl full. That's probably going to add up to right about my daily limit of carbs. But, you know, nuts are a single ingredient food. There is a considerable amount of fiber in there, which is also going to slow your body's breakdown of these things. And so when it comes to keto foods, you're not only considering just the total amount of carbs, you want to consider how your body breaks these things down. Are you being keto just for fat loss purposes? Are you trying to control your insulin spikes, things of that nature? For me, it was a little bit of both. Nuts are a treat. So when it comes to keto, you really want to stick with as whole foods as possible, minimally processed. Now, when I say minimally processed, there are some categories of foods that we've had for thousands of years. One of those foods is cheese. Now, a lot of you might think that, oh my goodness, cheese, it's got a lot of fat. I'm lactose intolerant. You might be thinking of a million reasons why, cheese might be bad on something that is a diet. You're looking at a lot of health benefits with cheese. Okay, for one, it is a great indulgence. Say somebody is like, really hooked to eating junk foods and salty snacks and things like that, where you could just pound bags and bags of potato chips and you feel like shit. Cheese is one of those things that it's very hard to overindulge in. I mean, you might feel like you overdid it, but the damage you probably did is probably very minimal, because cheese is higher in fat, higher in protein, and there's a lot of healthy compounds to cheese. The harder the cheese, the older the cheese, the less lactose there is in it, thus lower carb. And so something like a really, really well-aged cheese like this 1,000-day-old aged Gruyere, or even like a Parmesan, is well worth spending the money on. Aldi has a tremendous variety. As I said, initially when I was doing keto, it was beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. I kept it to that very strictly. Maybe some veg here and there. But you'll find that there are more and more foods. As you kind of get into this lifestyle, there's more and more foods that allow for some more variety, and you'd be surprised how low in carbs they actually are. Like these garlic and spinach chicken sausages, fully cooked. I like to keep little fully cooked things like this on hand, because you don't always want to come home after a long day's work and have to cook something from scratch. So things like these are kind of handy. And I bought a few different varieties of these chicken sausages, and there's only 1 gram of carbohydrate, less than 1 gram in most of these. Just also, if you're concerned with cost, I bought enough groceries here. I'd say about 5 paper grocery bags full for about $100, literally right around $100. As I said, I'm a single dad, so this would sustain a 2-person household for probably right around 2 weeks. And you're getting more bang for your buck when you do eat keto. Now, as I said, when I first started keto, I was very, very strict. No artificial sweeteners or anything like that. I was very averse to eating anything or consuming anything with aspartame or artificial sweeteners. As I continued with my journey, I made the calculated risk of saying, you know what, having a little bit of artificial sweetener isn't nearly as bad as breaking my trajectory by eating real sugar and things like that, which is, I never would have thought like that years ago. I was so anti Diet Coke, so anti any kind of non-caloric sweetener, but it has really helped, especially after 2-3 years of being completely sweetener free. It really just allowed for more flexibility in all this, and I don't feel restricted at all in the keto world. And one example of that, yeah, let's be a little more careful. One example of that are these protein shakes. Now, these protein shakes are are mostly sweetened with stevia, and I think there might be a little bit of like a sucralose in here. Yeah, there is. But the total carbohydrates of these are 3 grams. Now, these again are just mostly just for like when you're in a pinch. I do a lot of driving for my job, so those are just nice to have in a pinch. Now, one of the downfalls and dangers, if you're just getting into keto and having things with artificial sweeteners and whatnot, is they are, again, hyper palatable. It makes that so easy to consume. So you want to try your best to keep those limited. If you're going to do sugar-free things, stick with things that have very little to no calories in them, because even if you do go crazy on these things, you've not overdone your caloric budget. You're not going to end up in a caloric surplus, which is what you want to avoid. Some other things I have in here. Heavy whipping cream. Now, I'll tell you more about the heavy whipping cream down the road, because the options out there for keto treats are very limited. I'm going to do a separate video on how you can make your own homemade keto treats. You know exactly what's going in there. You can control the amount of carbs that are going in there. I always keep heavy whipping cream on hand. And we continue. All right. So, again, you want to avoid things that say, like if you're going down the bread aisle and you see something that says, oh, keto buns or keto pastries and things like that, keto chips and whatnot, steer clear of those things. It's a lie. It's a trap. You could slap the name keto on anything because there is no real like solid guideline of what keto is. But something like this, these egg wraps, 1 carbohydrate in there, and guess what? The ingredients are literally just egg. So you want to try and stick with single ingredient foods. The ingredients in this are egg whites and a little bit of xanthan gum and some sea salt. That's it. And these are going to be real lifesavers. Say like if you're trying to host like a taco night, or if you're looking for some way to just eat some food on the go. This definitely puts you back on track for being able to eat things like sandwiches and wraps. So, and these were like, and again, Aldi is like the best kept secret. It's like bougie products for like Save-A-Lot prices. It's ridiculous. These were like maybe like $1.50 each. Again, sticking with fatty, full of protein snacks. Again, these actually can get me in trouble because there are only 2 grams of protein in here, carbohydrates in here. But my God, what a delicious snack. It's literally just cheese. At first I saw these and I go, oh, I can't eat that. Cheese fries, it's probably got breading on it. It's just cheese, but it's a special type of cheese that won't melt once it hits a hot pan, so you can get a nice crispy outside and a gooey, chewy center on the inside. Very good. Some other things in here, chicken thighs. I also found some hamburger patties. I'm sure we all know what those look like. This is an entire bag full of more of these drinks. As I said, I recently discovered sugar-free beverages, and these just are a great way to kind of just hydrate yourself, satisfy that sweet tooth. You know, you could even make a variety of mocktails. I'll show you. There's a bunch of different sugar-free drinks out there that you can concoct into different types of creative little mocktails, and tell you more about those. Another indulgence that I allow myself on the keto diet is 85% or higher dark chocolate. 85 seems to be like that sweet spot, no pun intended, where it's not overly bitter and it just makes your face cringe. It's still a very palatable chocolate, and I will use this in the heavy whipping cream in some of my treats. You could also opt for sugar-free chocolates if you can find them. Just be aware that some of those sugar substitutes are going to have kind of like a laxative effect, and you might want to avoid that. Aldi never ceases to amaze me. Once again, I found some sriracha sauce that has almost zero carbs to it whatsoever. They have two different varieties. They had the red and green sriracha sauces. So again, once you start looking, you discover so much that you didn't know you had available. My first foods during this keto journey were so plain and basic: beef, butter, bacon, eggs. Everywhere I went, give me the hamburger patty, no bun, thank you. You know, oh, what's in your salad dressing? Okay, it was always modifying. As you navigate this, you're gonna find there are so many ways to make this diet more interesting and more satisfying. And that again just leads me to, that's the last bag, guys. I got some more sugar-free, found some sugar-free lemonade here. Now, again, you could pay attention to the sweeteners. This one is sweetened with sucralose, but you know, at some of the other stores, if you look closely enough, you look hard enough, you're gonna find some that are sweetened with stevia and monk fruit, which are a little less artificial. So that's my Aldi's haul. A lot of variety there. Please hit me up in the comments. I'd love to answer your questions if you're trying to get into keto and what to look for, what not to look for, what's too much. I like to stay within a 50 gram or less carbohydrate limit for my day. I do that for the reasons of it controls my insulin spikes. I no longer get hangry. I've been able to manage my my physical appearance a lot better with it, and yeah, I know shirtless videos might be a thing on this channel. Not always, but sometimes. But anyway, that was my Aldi's haul. Not a bad haul for right around $100. So cheers. I look forward to making more videos like this for you. Please like and subscribe, and let's see, you know, what all we can introduce you to with Christo's Keto Bistro.